What's good, Squadron? Welcome back to ACCL. It's not just my mug on the screen. You've got two of us again. Mr. Pabs is here with us. Pablo, how you doing, brother?
I was about to speak then and nearly choked on what would be the remainder of Asian cuisine that was actually still in my mouth. Yeah, I'm all good, mate. Back in the ACCL. It's nice to be back in the old home, comfortable slippers on, and no stress, and a beautiful matchup as well. So equally, I hope you're doing well, my mum.
Yeah, I'll say it feels odd now. We were so used to doing solos for so long, and now it's a case of whenever we do solos, God forbid it's on a bocage as well. I absolutely hate it. But yeah, it's good to have the
I'm just really gutted that I can't just reach across now and just and like tickle your face.
Yeah, just like mid broadcast. Just as a casual nudge, but yeah, we're back again. Obviously, not Super League this time. We've got Division 2. We had a really good series yesterday. I don't know how much of it you managed to catch in the end, Pablo, with the South African lads from Astra. But we've got slightly different teams this evening. We've got Fluxx Nations up against Tyrants, and that is our map set. I did just press the wrong button, but there you go. There's the rosters for the two teams, and quite a few notable names that we know quite a bit about, to be honest, in this one, Pablo. It's a bit of a throwback here for some of the players. We obviously the likes of Quids, Docs, Chandy, Domino. It's kind of a mixture of talent that we know quite a lot about across the board with this one, so it should be a good one.
Yeah, we've seen a couple of them up close and personally recently. Obviously, kind of getting to meet Quids and Breachy, I think, and obviously we followed Docs and his kind of like shenanigans over the last year or so, and I think Chandy as well. Domino is probably the name I've probably cast over the most out of the group of them, because I think we cast over these in Domino in CCL, and I think he's even played a couple of R4G tournaments.
It was all part of the what was the DSK? That was it. He was on the DSK rosters. Yeah.
So we are going way back in time to some original casting. So it's good to see some of the old heads coming back to play a bit of ACCL, which is always nice.
Yeah, and this time I will press the right button. So for anyone who is interested, this is what our map set is saying. It's a bit of a slower start, but then we get into a nice chunky triple Tuscan Pablo, and then we end it on a Bocage Search and Destroy. So apart from map 1, all the SMG boys will be licking their lips at this one, because a lot of fast-paced action on the board for this series.
Yeah, it's a Tuscan cake, really, isn't it? It's just a complete wedge right in the middle. Interestingly, I mean, the pacing's going to be completely crazy. I mean, I personally think AR's a little blessed in Tuscan as well. You've got enough room across, both sides of the Tuscan map to do a bit of damage. We saw Beans putting up some disgusting numbers at the weekend across Tuscan, so it's quite possible as an AR as well. But yeah, I think the SMGs are actually going to prosper a little bit more. Obviously, we've seen the popularity of Gavutu and Berlin over the last few weeks, so it is nice to finally see a bit of close quarter action coming in. So it will be interesting to see how the two teams play out. But again, if we can get to Bocage, that would be nice.
Yeah. So and also, Pablo, obviously today we've got this is our one and only game for anyone who is interested. But tomorrow we've got a marathon of Call of Duty. For anyone who doesn't know, our ACCL Vibe Pay Spring Invitational that obviously started off in Sheffield, but is going to be now finishing remotely, is now back. And long day of COD, Pab, starting at 11, probably going to finish around 9 o'clock. So for all the passionate people who haven't got much planned, there's probably not a better place to be for, especially for European fans anyway.
Yeah, if you need somewhere to watch some COD, just get your feet up, get the popcorn in, get Vanguard on one screen, and get Major Chafin's channel on the other, because it's going to be a long old day of COD. We're not going to be able to cast all of it. There's going to be some going on, separate streams in the background across the ACCL network as such. So you'll be able to keep up with all the action. Some of it won't be commentated on, so you'll be able to see it nonetheless. So if you've got a team that you want to follow, whether it be Excalibur Esports or whatever, you're going to be able to catch up with everyone. And obviously there will be a main broadcast on Major's channel tomorrow, and it's going to be an epic. It's going to be a marathon, and we're going to have a winner decided tomorrow. So it is going to be a fun day of Call of Duty. Yeah,
so obviously main broadcast for the majority of the game will be on my channel, but because we got quite a lot to get through, there is going to be 3 additional streams. So there will be an Alpha Bravo and Charlie stream covering some of the games, and
we're bringing back the CWL vibes.
Yeah, exactly. You're going to want to be tabbing between them, seeing how the other ones go. I believe the other ones though aren't being casted, if memory serves me well, unless Jacko is going and casting maybe on that second stream potentially. I don't want to quote him just in case he is busy though. But yeah, we've got a lot of games to get through, but we won't have the issue with Activision, which is a beautiful thing. We can just kind of continue off as it is, and all the teams pretty much left in that one, Pablo, have all got an opportunity. Obviously, some more so than others, you would make the argument for, but it is going to be a passion pit of COD once again, and no 2K, so no better timing, really.
Oh, it's perfect. It's absolutely perfect. Sadly, we are going to, however, be without Davey tomorrow because he is on holiday. So one of the more notable kind of legends from the scene not going to be available, but I think he has been subbed in by someone who was equally as quality. I did actually check before who it was, and now obviously because I'm a pensioner, I can't actually remember who is subbing in for a depth club. So let me just have a look very quickly. Of course, you hit the depth club. Where are we? There we go. They did announce the team.
Yeah, yeah, because Dave's not there, is he?
Stuss, was it? Yeah, so no fuss
Stuss,
is filling in for him. So yeah, so I mean, I don't want to be mean to Stuss. It's not exactly like for like, but it's, you know, the quality's still reasonably high. So yeah, that should be sound. It was a shame because we did get to see Davey play a little bit in the LAN itself, but clearly wanted to see a little bit more up close from his perspective as well. Would have been nice, but we've still got the rest of the side looking pretty strong. And then obviously you've got Nixer and you've got, you know, a few of the teams as well that are more than capable of doing very well.
Yeah, so you've got the likes of well, obviously the Katana boys that you mentioned, Excalibur, they're another good team there. Adept Club, good team. Yeah, Johnny W's boys, Snake Slot, another good team.
Brand new day.
Yeah, exactly. And you got obviously Dizzy's team, Incentive, they're still in there as well.
Yeah.
So there's so many teams that you could make an argument for, really, to justify who's going to get it. But obviously tomorrow is when we're going to manage to separate the kind of the top quality. And obviously they're playing for a lot of money as well. $3 grand prize pool on this one as well, courtesy of VidePay. So a huge shout out to them guys as well. Obviously, ideally we would want to have done it on LAN, but we're going to kind of do it the traditional way that we've known pretty much since COVID. And then there's now talks, Pablo, of the one up in the Toon. So again, hopefully with that one sorted out, we know kind of the issues that we had last time before with it. So it looks as though this time round we can iron out the creases that we had last time. Obviously, it's going to be a much bigger setting and kind of everything involved. Setups, computers, the volume of it is going to be a lot larger.
Completely different as well. The computers are going to be, the tech side of it's handled by a team of people specialising in handling these big esports events. So it's a completely different setup whatsoever.
Yeah, so back into this one though, Pablo. Gavutu hardpoint for these guys. Obviously, for anyone who doesn't know what the rosters are, this is currently how these two teams fare up. So it's Quids, Docs, Breachy and Chandy up against Domino. I believe it's is it Ike D? I think it's Ike D or HD.
I think I've always pronounced it LHD because I'm an idiot. I think he's another player from that kind of like that back in the day, that kind of DSK time. Like
he definitely is.
He's got a ton of experience and played quite a lot of Call of Duty recently as well.
Yeah, and obviously Rafi as well. So we kind of, Quids especially, we've seen quite a lot of. Docs as well, we know he's a very talented player. Chandy, he obviously grinds the game out. So it's one where we haven't really seen a huge amount of these guys on Vanguard, really. We've seen a lot of them through Cold War. We've obviously kept tabs on them, how they get through in some of the 2Ks. Say Domino was a very, very good player on Cold War. Haven't really seen a huge amount of him in Vanguard. So it's not quite a blank slate, but we can kind of go into this one and just kind of sit back and see what the boys have got to offer us here. Obviously on a slightly slower pace map. It's not going to be a frantic one right out the gates. But it'll be a good marker nonetheless, especially for those AR players to see which one of those have got the beams in store for us tonight.
And you know what concerns me is that the only time I think I've been involved with Quids in Vanguard is literally in 8s with him just like cancelling the life out of me and eventually just making me wanting to quit. So yeah, I'm looking forward to see how he copes with players of his own caliber and capability and just seeing what kind of numbers he can put up. I'm hopeful that he's going to be able to play, you know, the kind of pace that he likes to play at, even with the AR. So yeah, this is going to be very interesting. But again, it's the Gavutu, so it's an open map. We've got, obviously it does lend itself a little bit to ARs, but if you're a smart SMG player, it's hard points, so there's plenty of opportunities to breach or to hold or to at least, you know, try and get some kills. Plenty of close quarter combat as well. You've just got to be careful, obviously, of those key points in Gavutu. You know, you've got, you know, ring can be a kind of suppression point, and top boat we are going to be hitting off though major with Rafe.
No. Map 1, Game 1 in this Division 2 series. If you guys did miss the Division 2 one that I covered yesterday, it was a really, really good series in the end between Ricochet Ultra and Astra Infinite. Got some more names on the board, this time from South Africa, that we managed to keep a tab on as we go through. But strong start from Tyrants right off the rip. There is going to be a contest coming through from Quids, who will fall, and Mr. George has told us it's actually pronounced HD, so it's even we threw every name under the sun at him bless him, but we still got it wrong. So HD is going to be the man on the hill while
Thanks,
Chandy
George.
just waiting for the option to try and get a contest through, and he will manage to take one down. There is still going to be another man here, and there's some shots going to collide, and Chandy, a couple of 2 kills off the rip, and it's a bit of a scrappy one so far, Pablo. Not really much separating these two in the early stages.
It's classic P1 on Gavutu, so very, very much a contest spot. We're not going to see, occasionally we will see one team dominate from the off, but looks like these two guys, these two teams especially, evenly matched. We've got kind of kill leaders in Chandy and Domino almost exactly on the same score, so it's good to see that these guys, there doesn't appear to be a massive skill gap right now, but Dox is going to head straight in without any support, and he's going to get taken down rather easily. So it's going to give Tyrants an opportunity to get some boat control. And as I say that, of course, as I say that, they lose that boat control. But coming in from middle is going to give them that nice opportunity to try and push through. We do see one get in, but nice play really from Fluxx Nation there across mid. We can see Breachy just cutting players down, and then from top boat as well, Chandy just doing good work, Major. So they're able to potentially retake that, but unfortunately that's going to be too little too late, and I think it's chalked as if Quids already heading for what will be a heavily contested P3.
Yeah, Quids gets one out the back. There's still a couple of players nearby. Domino and Jed are both here. They sniff him out and they bag the kills. So Tyrants now going to look to try and get set up on this next hill. We know how much of a money hill this can be over towards P3. As Chandy falls. So HD with another pick. Dox is going to try and slip his way through the net here as he flies out onto Jed, and really weak there was Dox, but manages to get the pick, and they're still waiting to push in here. Fluxx, this is the difficulty of this hill. We've seen it time after time where players, they just hesitate before throwing themselves at it, but kills are just awaiting a few players that are going to try and push in. Number 3, Dox is going to try and work his way in. Once again, he will fall. The kill feed lights up in favour of Tyrants, but at the moment, it looks as though they've still stabilised and they're slowly starting to push this lead out further and further.
I'm totally amazed, Major. Tyrants just kind of threw themselves into the most exposed positions. I was that clenched-faced emoji for large parts of that P3 as they just kind of ran out and got cut down. But they still managed to get like a solid chunk of time. So, this very aggressive, very kind of like hyper-exposed play they've done has gone entirely their way. A little bit of scrap time going the way of Fluxx Nation, and Fluxx kind of semi-set up over towards P4. You can see that player number 1 was Chandy set up towards bottom ramp, but he's been dealt with. But he's going to allow them to get the spawns. Fluxx Nation are going to get those back spawns and be pretty much in a good position now to deal with the on-rushing pink arrows. Not much separating them right now, only around 10 seconds, 20 seconds, apologies. And it is going to be Major one of those kind of brand new day approaches where they just try and push from the front. Unfortunately, this time the team in blue are perfectly set up to deal with it. But number 7, Major and Jed, 11 and 6 right now, kill leader. And what a beautiful amount of kills he's got right there. He's been absolutely going off. Richie manages to get one, and Quiddles in support, so it's a nice break from Fluxx Nation despite those heroics. And Major, 10 seconds has turned into no seconds as the lead changes.
Yeah, so now it's all blue at the moment on hill time, and it's all blue in terms of kills. You mentioned Jed doing a good job, but now Dox again going all the way around, going to try and make the route here for his team. Does spot Domino and snaps straight onto him. So good work from Dox. Tyrants, obviously all the arrows going to make a little bit of a U-turn as they realise the importance of making sure that they can get these players out the back. And nice work by HD as he clears out a couple of players. There is still Dox near the hill. He's still just lurking, waiting for the right time to drop. Will strike onto the top of Rafe's head. Takes down one. The trade, though, from Domino comes through. Tyrant's going to look to throw some bodies on the hill. There is still one man nearby, low lurking, who is going to be Chandy. Rafe going to try and jump out around the corner. He wins the gunfight. Tyrants still trailing by a little bit. It's been a bit of a messy P5, Pablo. No one's really quite got a foothold on it, but Tyrants look as though now they're going to get a decent amount of time, potentially, if they get this next wave of kills.
Yeah, I mean, the kills not only kind of lining up quite nicely in terms of the fights, although Tyrant's slaying out a little bit heavier. We've got Breachy, who is struggle bus material right now, nearly triple positive with only 10 seconds. Someone who does need to pick things up. But that first rotation just pretty much even. I mean, we're coming out 97-90 as we hit the P1 on the second rotation, and there isn't much to put between them. Right now, Tyrant's not really able to turn that slaying advantage into time right now. And Fluxx Nation, making very, very good use of what little kill time and what little kills they've been able to get. So right now you could say Fluxx Nation, although behind, if they are able to bring Breachy more into the game in terms of kills and time, that could potentially put them into the driving seat. But right now it is Tyrant's game to lose as they are able to slay out. They've got this P1 control again. and it's looking like they are going to extend that lead around in about 30 seconds right now. And again, they're going to be set up already in middle with number 5 in Domino. 15 and 12, Major, looking to try and catch up to Jed. With 23 seconds, he's done an awesome job from top boat. Just suppression right now. And the boys in blue do not know what to do to deal with them. Trying to reposition, trying to transition to try and get kills. Finally do deal with them, but it is going to be almost all Major exclusive time going the way of the boys from Tyrants on that P1.
Yeah, that was a really, really good hold there from Tyrants, and the score now reflects it. 60 points to the good as they rotate over towards P2. This next hill has to be good. Breachy wins a big couple of gunfights. He is struggling at the moment, Breachy, but now can he manage to get another kill? No, HD. He's going to shut him down. An important pick potentially as they once again get on the time. Chandy just going to try and suppress a few more players who are going to try and reinforce Jed inside the hill. Couple of gunfights probably go in their favour. And nice work by Chandy up top, commanding the top of the boat, and now going to look to maybe try and catch a couple of players out in transition. He's going to have to watch, though, over the top of cliffs. There are going to be a few players looking to drop down and maybe push through mid here on the side of Tyrants, and the importance of that next hill, Pablo. It looks as though they're almost trying to chalk off the next hill, this hill's rotation for the next hill, because they have now completely switched around. They're now holding ready for P3, and it looks as though that obviously that lead that they had just encouraged them to play the long game, play for the next hill, and that's exactly what they've done.
Yeah, they've kind of reached what we would consider that kind of golden ratio, where they're at a point now where they can potentially just take 20-25 seconds off each kill, and they're going to get to the point where they're probably going to be uncatchable. But they do need to dominate this P3. They chalked P2 at like 28 seconds, which is, I mean, it's a generous amount of time to hand over to Fluxx Nation. And, you know, if they do lose this, they've got to ask that question that maybe they should have tried to at least contest, or at least, you know, bait the team off the hill. But right now they have got that P3 control, Major, and they're looking strong for it, but they've got to deal with a solid amount of blue arrows down towards middle, though they are going to transition right the way through and get effectively dealt with. And who is it going to be there? The kill leader of the lobby, 23 and 9 on a 5 streak right now, and he's just caused absolute murder. Make that a 6 streak. Is he going to get the 7? Finally gets dropped. Chandy has to go big, though, but they've still got P3 control. So regardless of the heroics of Fluxx Nation, finally it is going to be nope. Domino decides to push in, and that's only going to give them 10 seconds. And realistically, Tyrants, you know, that choice in the end, Major, to chalk off P2 has played exactly into their favour.
Yeah, and out the back, Docs almost manages to get all 3 players, but Tyrants now, they're in such a good position. They're ready to go on P4, and this is going to be a difficult break here. Shots from range coming through from Quids isn't going to be enough to take that man down. And now in goes Docs. How many can he grab? One round the corner, and HD holds strong, though. The first wave of kills looks as though it's going in favour of Tyrants once again. Chandy surely got to try and get on a contest spot soon. He's just going to wait patiently, but it's going to be another kill that comes through for HD, who's now on a 5 streak himself. Now makes it 6, and he's pushing out the lanes. This is looking brutal towards the later stages of this hard point. The boys in blue can't even seem to be touching the hill, and there's streaks now for HD. 7 in a row, 28 and 19. He's kind of gone under the radar, but this streak has really helped push him out, and it looks as though Docs will get the contesting. It's a big one-on-one. Docs is able to win it. He's got another one up against Jed, and Jed, the man who's been performing, able to get yet another pick. But now HD still got 2 players. They do have some players over towards the rotation, but HD, if he wins this second gunfight, which he's not able to, Fluxx Nation, they breathe a sigh of relief.
Well, what a big breath as well it's going to be. They are going to get cut down over towards mid, so that is going to be the boys from Tyrants making their way to P5. And with only a couple of seconds remaining, there isn't going to be enough time for Fluxx Nation. And what a beautiful piece of strategy played by the boys from Tyrants, chalking off the hill and gaining at least 50 seconds from that P4. So great play by them, despite the heroics of some of the players from Fluxx Nation. But you've got to say, you've got to doff your cap right there between HD, between Jed, 29 and 12, 29 and 21, combining 47 non-traded kills, which is, you know, hey, 47 non-traded between 2 players, almost accounting for the rest of the entire lobby. That's insane plays right there, but a very deserved win on the part of Tyrants on that Gavutu hardpoint.
Yeah, so there's the confirmation of it. Tyrants 1-0 up now in this best of 5, and we do now get ready for our next map, which is going to be Tuscan Search and Destroy. And yeah, Breachy obviously really struggled in that one by the looks of it, Pablo, just in terms of kills. It was a rough map in terms of just, I think, raw gunfights, really. The boys have of Tyrants. To be fair to them, they just seem to win so many important middle map gunfights. It felt as though every single time they were going to try and transition over towards the next hill Fluxx Nation, they just either had someone P1 watching across, they had someone top boat. We saw Domino do a really good job staying alive in towards top boat, and it was just they commanded kind of the important kind of zones on the map, I suppose you would say, that allow players to get to the hills a little bit quicker. We see sometimes players tend to leg it straight across middle map, and to be fair to them, Tyrants punished Fluxx Nation every time they tried to do it. They just weren't able to really get anywhere quickly, it felt as though.
I think they played kind of some portions of the map like a Div 1 side, so just total mid-map control that allows you to suppress any spawns, even if you've got P3 spawns. If you've got that mid-map, if you've got that top boat control, you can obviously cut people trying to come across, you know, around P5. You can cut people trying to make that slip across towards the back of beach. You've got so much sight that you can do a lot of damage, and from that point on, the boys from Fluxx Nation just never really looked like they managed to get the rhythm back into the game, and just found themselves consistently getting cut down. Don't get me wrong, there were a couple of moments from Tyrants where they just exposed themselves quite heavily, but they just seemed to prosper through gun skill. So at times where you would see teams take up positions that you know, kind of watch those middle lanes across the P3 from anyone coming from ring, they just kind of threw themselves into the mix and just prospered really through to gun skill. I think if they continue to play like that going up into Div 1, if they get that far with this season, then I think they'll probably get punished for it. But Fluxx just not able to do that, and a nice win for them. S&D though going to throw up hopefully a different set of results. We know Breachy struggled in the respawn, so maybe the S&D might be his hunting ground, and you can't really ask for a better one. It's probably the most popular of the original kind of map set, and one that's been, you know, scrimmed to all kinds of hell. So a good opportunity for him maybe to bring things back up, and a good opportunity for Fluxx to maybe bring the scoreline back to parity.
Yeah, so you can't really ask for much more in terms of just kind of the change of pace. We are actually seeing a map of restart, so we'll just switch back to us while we wait. But yeah, going into kind of a search and destroy is ideal really after a respawn where you are getting battered around a little bit. Obviously the pacing is a little bit slower. You can kind of play your angles correctly, even if obviously people call it camping, but you can literally, if you're struggling, sit in a corner, try and get a pick of someone trying to overextend, because we see a lot of players that when they've had a really good respawn, they go into the search and they obviously full of confidence, full of beans, they will hit a lane instantly without hesitation. And sometimes the team that is playing passively and a bit more carefully, it can actually benefit them a little bit just by playing really far back. Obviously not to the extent of sat in their spawn and stuff, but just playing it slow, literally not rushing anything, not forcing anything, because in hardpoint you are forced to obviously play things out quickly, whereas in search and destroy that pacing is brought a lot down, so it will be a bit of a breathable space, I suppose this map would be for the boys of Fluxx Nation, just to try and get themselves a little bit sorted and embedded in the series a little bit better.
Yeah, and I think it's on that note of kind of like trying to suppress hyper aggressive teams, is that it obviously lends itself to, there are direct kind of flanks that you can take, but it's about controlling that as much of that middle geography as possible. But if you are, obviously your big key in Tuscan is being able to react to that effectively. So if you do find yourself being marauded from the outset by a team that is super aggressive, then you need to have that capability to then think, just take a step back rather than sitting, you know, off angle at front church or top church. You know, maybe just come back a little bit, knowing that someone's going to potentially push through church, and just take them out off an angle. So there are opportunities, but they need to be able to effectively be able to judge, you know, after the first 2 rounds. Now we've seen it time and time again where a team has gone 2 rounds down, but you know that that's like the information gathering rounds.
Yeah,
they've just sat and monitored how you play, and then before you know it, it's 6-2. So good opportunity, and Tuscan's perfect for it. It's absolutely perfect for it. It hasn't got the raw insanity of Bocage, and it hasn't got the kind of like hyper strategy of Berlin. So you don't have to necessarily be the most capable S&D player to prosper, but obviously it's just great for that middle ground between, you know, being able to have great gun skill but being able to strategize quite effectively. So again, it's going to be interesting just to see how Fluxx respond, and you know, they could be the hyper aggressive side. They might decide to push out and just try and get some big kills. But again, you know, we know Quids can be a quick player, even with the AR. So it's going to be interesting. But I think out the blocks, I think they're going to feel each other out. I think you're going to see classic kind of top fire, top church, just trying to get picks. And then it'd be interesting to see who's going to take up the sniper role, if anyone will. Yeah. Obviously, you know, the confidence coming out of a player, we love it. We absolutely love it when we see a player with a sniper. And I absolutely love it. The lower the down we go in terms of the divisions, it's even more fun. You see these players who, you know, are rocking Division 5, Division 6, but they're just absolutely lightning with the sniper. So fingers crossed, Major, that we're going to see some world stars again.
Yeah, and obviously, kind of, we've seen the teams that tend to be a lot more successful on Tuscan have the ability to have that sniper. We saw it yesterday with the South African lads of Astra, when they had the presence of the sniper that was there pretty much all the time. You can kind of command off kind of that P1 side, especially Pablo on A. We see so many players that are very, very aggressive to push through, but if you've got a sniper down there that's getting one pick pretty much even every other round, it just puts a little bit of doubt in the attacking team minds. So it is an important factor. Obviously, we spoke in the last COD how good it is to have them back, but we're now in a position where we finally see it, and you do see the changes that teams are forced to make when there is a dominant sniper on the map.
Yeah, absolutely. The capabilities in terms of suppression and information gathering from the sniper can be absolutely crucial to getting first bloods in the early part of the round. And obviously, the one big hindrance comes down to when it becomes clutch time, because obviously the sniper, usually being the furthest player back, will normally be the last player alive in these clutch situations. So it's a double-edged sword, and we do see some of the best players prosper. But again, the hyper-aggression straight out the blocks. Breachy drops Rafe. He was almost into mid from the top rope, and that's going to be huge kills again. ITD gets a pick, and that's going to put them into the position of being 3v2 as we approach the minute mark, and Shandy is going to be stuck in top fire, looking to try and even things up.
Yeah, and pretty much exactly what I kind of flagged up. If you have a good map one, it just really doesn't surprise me that the team that had a good start comes flying out the gates in the search, and this time it has led to Tyrants having that one-man advantage. But now Fluxx, they are a little bit split up at the moment. Quiddles, Mr. Quids, over towards that B side, and Chandy, it looks as though he's just going to wait for him before he pushes through. They've got to be careful though, because each D is tucked away in U. And now, is he going to check the right corner here, Chandy? Because each D looks as though he's going to be the man to try and make the play when they inevitably try and get the bomb. The timing, is it going to be good or bad here? Around the corner goes Quids. He's going to go straight into the blender though. Each D, his third of the round, apologies, as he's now on an ace. It will be his teammate that robs it of him, but a good strong start there for the boys of Tyrants.
Yeah, and surprisingly, Tyrants, the guys with, I would say, a marginal, less aggressive approach. I mean, it was pretty aggressive out the blocks from both sides, trying to take up that kind of middle geography of the map, but it ends up obviously coming into favour of the team in grey or in red, I guess. But Tyrants doing a great job there.
Yeah,
Fluxx Nation already 1-0 down. I'm kind of figuring it out. It was like I saw pink for like a flash and was like, are they pink? Oh yeah, it is pink. Yeah, 1-0 to Tyrants. Back to you, Major.
Yeah, so HD and Jed are going to be over towards the A site. The first blood that Breachy is able to get, though, doesn't come from this side. And Chandy gets a second as well, so they've got to be careful here. Tyrants, this round is running away. Whew! Oh my, well that was one of the quickest rounds that we have seen coming through in a Tuscan surge. That was almost instant. And Fluxx Nation, I don't think they dropped a life in that one.
No, that was way too quick. That was incredible. So with that aggression on the defensive side really coming to the fore as well, so they're able to get their shots and bring things to parity pretty quickly as well. And I think that might cause a little bit of caution in Tyrants, because that was insanely quick. That was absolutely wild. So yeah, with only one player must have dropped. I think one player must have dropped. They've got 5 deaths on Fluxx Nation, so it was still pretty quick. But Rafe and Dom are now yet to get off the mark, so big things needed from them. But it's good to see Breachy on the positive. Chandy is going to take up this position towards L. He's going to try and get players a pick over towards that top church area, but he's just being toyed with by Jed right now. And Jed just comes under some fire, decides to dip, and you can see now those blue arrows decide to take up a little bit of geography. And it is going to be HD with the first blood on Breachy, Major.
Yeah. HD's having an absolute whale of a time. 4-on-1 now for him. And Quids is going to get a big pick. Is the quick scope going to come through from Domino? Yes, it is. He slaps Quids straight in the chest. And now Chandy. Nice shots to weaken Jed. He's got to be careful, though. Number 5 on the mini-map. Rafe's coming all the way around the back. He will mop him up, and it will be another regain round there from the boys of Tyrants. Push it out once again. 2-1 up they go. And after a very good round from Fluxx, where they didn't drop a life, it's now back to the boys in pink in the lead again.
Yeah, unfortunate they just weren't able to read that flank from Rafe. They did get that mid-map control after they forced Jed as far back as Middle Church, but too little too late. I think Rafe had already made his way around the back, and that's going to allow him to get his 1 kill so far in this game, but an important one as they take the lead 2-1, and Tyrants looking good there. But again, Fluxx maybe not counting the bodies as they encounter them, which could be a communication issue, but Fluxx Nation still only 1 behind, and they've, everyone's seemingly carrying the weight so far. No Docs and Quids are going to be under. Docs is going to make that into parity, and bizarre aggressive play from HD, but he gets the kill, drops Docs and gets some middle map coverage right there. So big plays from him, but again, still kind of between 2 bomb sites, and it's going to be number 1 in Breachy making his way forward. He doesn't check his corners. This is some wild plays right now. HD's going to get that kill again, Major, and that's going to put them into the advantage of being 3-2. And in fact, it's going to be Quiddles, Major, on his own in a 1v3.
Yeah, so now Quids, he's got a lot to do. Nope, gets paid in some rather large dividends in the form of bullets. So unfortunately, just by missing a couple there, it now means he won't be able to work the 1v3, and Tyrants now go 3-1 up. So looking very accomplished here on the search and destroy. HD especially very, very quick to make the trades, Pablo. As soon as they get a man weak, you just always see a Tyrants man just throwing themselves at it. And at the moment, it's working. HD's on 7 kills, 3 in a row. And at the moment, it just looks as though Fluxx Nation just haven't really got into gear.
Yeah, I mean, it's perfect map size for it. There's no excuse, really, not to be trading out your comrades as they fall. And on a map size as small as this, and it's great play from Tyrants. And we saw how good strategically they were in the hard point, and there's no real reason why we wouldn't think they'd be able to prevent. There's some awfully windy shots there as Rafe manages to drop Docs. It is going to be 3v3, and Chandy still has bomb. But again, I mean, this has been one of the problems so far, is no one really able to get bomb down or any bomb site control. It's been very much a game of TDM so far, as we see a fight go down towards P5.
Oh, Windows!
Place he plays a sniper, though. Breachy's cannot afford to die here, Major. Chandy is still with bomb as we hit the 50 seconds, and Domino with the sniper.
What? That was like a hit marker. You just hit him straight in the head. Oh, I don't know how that
one's on my account.
Yeah, I don't know what he's... Maybe he's shooting rubber pellets, I don't know. But it wasn't a pick anyway. It was an important moment, though, because that would have evened it up to 2 apiece. So Fluxx going to get the bomb down over towards the A site. You can see, though, that Jed is making the play round the back. Can he at least get the man off the bomb? Chandy's dead to rights, but the bomb does go down. So at least 1 positive for Fluxx as their teammate will fall. And now a bit of a split approach here. You can see 1 player from each team on both the sides of that A bomb. Jed's still on the hunt, waiting for that next pick. It looks as though Breachy's going to have to try and make the play here. He's got to at least get Jed. Breachy, big kill, takes down 1. He's now got Domino as well. Breachy with the second. Good work there from Breachy. And an important round for Fluxx. So big, big moment for them and their team.
Oh, if you're ever going to need a 2-piece right there, it's going to come from the big man Breachy again. We did think he might potentially have a better game in this S&D, and it's proven so. After a reasonably appalling start in the hard point, I think he's on 5-3 now for his troubles with a 3 streak, and that's a beautiful moment to have a 2-piece. I'm sure the comms are going off. Only 1 behind, and at this point you felt Tyrants had kind of an element of control. I honestly felt like they were going to start just kind of tearing away through this S&D, but this is a big moment for them, and they've got to make this last. Look at the sheer aggression coming out of the boys in blue, though, and whether they're going to have Quiddles is going to massively have his hands full. He manages to play his life, though, Major, so he's going to have read that. The nade's going to go out. I think he is going to get pushed. He does play his life again. If he gets that kill, I will lose my actual mind. And Jed and HD are going to be there to provide support, and it's going to be Breachy in a 1v3 situation. And Major, he does get dealt with. Tyrants again with the 2-round lead.
Yeah, Quids did well to get the first pick and try and get away, but again, it just feels as though when those pink arrows start running at you, they do not stop, and that's exactly what they did again. They just managed to win their individual gunfights. They trade out players efficiently, and it's going to be another round on the board for them. So Fluxx Nation do a good job of reducing the lead down, but Tyrants have done an even better job now of pushing it straight back out again, and they're now only 2 rounds away before they will go 2-0 up in this series. So we'll see again what is the play here from Fluxx. Chandy in charge of bomb. And this is going to be a big hit here for Quids. Bonjour, they're all here. Oh, Quids gets both. Oh, is he going to get the... Oh, Quids gets all 3. I have no idea what I have just witnessed. He literally headbutted 2 players at once. One man opens the door, and Quid just slaps him around the back of the head with even more bullets.
Surprise! Honest to God, he just absolutely steams through the door, gets a magical two-piece, and leaves the Tyrants player completely lost as to where he was and gets that third. And it's going to leave Jed in the unenviable position of a 35-second 1v4 with every player waiting for him. And that's going to be some shots straight to the back. And Fluxx Nation Major have done the, not the unthinkable, but they brought it back to one round again. And, you know, if they have another quality game, I think the offensive side of things just, well, it puts them slightly on the back foot. But defensively, they've been absolutely solid and super aggressive at times. But yeah, great plays by them. And again, another wild round. Insane. One round just separates them right now. And Major, I honestly think this could go round 11 if Tyrants keep throwing it away the way they have.
Yeah, that was a really, really bizarre strat. They just threw everyone single file down the same doorway. I mean, I understand that teams like to team hit stuff, but that literally just opened up the opportunity for Quiz to just gun down so many players in that round. Just got away from them literally in the space of about 3 seconds. So it's now going to be Tyrants one round ahead. Rafe with a big pick to take one down. Breachy's going to be caught with his trousers down, just pushing up a little bit, overextending Domino. Did he manage to spot Chandy up top? I don't think he did, otherwise the con would have come through because Rafe's just going to run straight in towards his bullets. And nice shots there. Chandy is going to manage to grab another one.
Thank you.
Now, number 6, Jed, don't worry, I got you. So now Jed left in the 1 versus 2. Doesn't have the bomb either. He's got to retrieve it. And Chandy, he's going to be here. They're surely going to bump into each other any second now. That's some god timing, though. That's some god timing. Jed makes it a 1 versus 1 now, up against Quids. And an important round here for Tyrants if they get this one over the line, sorry.
Yeah, absolutely. Jed needs to get that bomb, though. I think he absolutely missed it the first time round. So sometime it might go his way. I don't think Quids has seen that. So I think he's going to find himself checking over towards B, which it looks like he's doing. And that's just going to give Jed the opportunity to get bomb at A and get set up. But this is going to become a guessing game. He's got to choose a spot, essentially. And fingers crossed he's going to choose the right one if Fluxx Nation are going to bring this back at all. And it's going to be Jed. Looks like he chose
big
correctly
round.
in Tyrants. Apologies are going to go to that match point 5-3, and this is where it starts to get difficult. And Fluxx Nation already a hyper aggressive team. Major, it's going to be interesting to see how they respond to this because they're not going to want to go down 2-0 in this series.
Yeah, big moment there from Jed. 1 versus 2, albeit some really good COD timing for the first kill, but take nothing away from it. He's having a really good search and destroy himself individually now at 7-3. So now Tyrants 1 round away from going 2-0 up. Now Fluxx Nation can't drop any more. And now, again, on the attacking side, looks as though Rafa's going to be the lone man over here. So we'll see if he just tries to play for info. The stun will come over the top and land straight on his head. Oh, he sees the whole lot. He's out of there. He wants nothing more to do with that. Rafa's just going to turtle up a little bit. And it looks as though it's a relatively decent bit of composed defensive work here for the Tyrants. And no, another kill comes through. Breachy grabs one. Jed, though, with the trade out the back is going to be number 3, Doc. So now Jed finds himself again in another situation where he needs to clutch up. I think he might have got some rough timing there. Yeah, number 1, Breachy. He's on the hunt. Oh, Breachy, turn around, brother. He's gone the other way. Oh, my God. Oh, okay. I thought he got both. Jeez. I thought for a second then Breachy stood in front of his teammate and allowed them both to get chopped down, but he didn't. Fluxx Nation get the round, and they survive.
Yeah, I was a little confused there, but yeah, in the end, it is going to be a Fluxx win, bringing it back again to this 1 round deficit that they haven't been able to really kind of solve this 2 round puzzle that they've encountered against Tyrants. So a lot of the times their kind of defensive round has been good. So a good opportunity for Fluxx Nation to potentially bring this back to parity and see that round 11, and deservedly so at times. You know, at the start they started to fall off, and it did look pretty bad for them. But right now they're playing pretty well. Domino's got a big opportunity, though, to try and take that first blood. It is going to be HD with the bomb. 9-6 unreal plays. Breachy with a kill there. He's going to give Fluxx the advantage. And oh, has he got the second? Oh, my days. Make that a 3-piece. No, we did see Docs get one. Apologies. As we hit the 1 minute mark, it's going to be Rafe Major with the impossible mission of a 1v4.
Oh, well, there's the first one. We'll get away. Oh, hello, Breachy. Oh, there's 2. Uh-oh, runny bum.
Naughty.
A little bit of runny bum potentially coming through from Fluxx here. Surely they don't let this one happen. Rafe now. Only got to go through Docs and Quids. And this will probably be on Twitter. So Around the corner he goes. Oh my god, he's got the third. Oh my god, he's got the third. Dox is now the last man up for Fluxx. Rafe now 1 away from completing the 1 versus 4. Surely this doesn't happen. He's going to run straight into him. Does he get the good timing? Oh, he doesn't. Dox manages to save them so much embarrassment. And we go into round 11.
Oh my days, I thought Rafe had this. The timing is just so unfortunate. Great hip fire to ADS from Dox there. Beautiful play all round. And they've brought it to the round 11. I did feel it was going this way. At one point, it did look like it was slipping away from Fluxx Nation. But Major Dox on the 10-6 right now on a 5 streak. Question is, can they bring this back to parity? And if they are able to do it thoroughly, deservedly, and completely so.
So, where's the first blood? Dox is going to get straight in towards you. Oh, does he spot HD there? HD's going to fly around the corner, and he's going to get taken down. Breachy will fall. So too will another man on the side of Tyrants, and now it's getting messy. It's now 2 versus 3 in favour of Fluxx Nation. They were trailing, and now they see themselves in a position where they can maybe get this round done. Dox, he's 1 away. There's the streaks. Now is Dox going to just invest the glide bomb? It's now all on Domino. When are they going to push through? Surely. Yep, glide bomb's out. Dox will spot Domino. He gets the information of where he is. He's going to try and land it. Oh, and he does with absolute pristine precision. Lands right on his bonce. And Fluxx Nation, they get the round done. 1-1.
Dox take a bow, my son. Unbelievable plays right there. And, you know, it's nice to see a glide used effectively for a round-winning, game-winning kill as well. So great plays there. Dox going 13-6 in the end from a position that wasn't even close to that. 7 non-traded kills. Oh, and I am in the midst of the fog. So I'll send that back over to you.
It's your alter ego, Shadow Pabs. There you go. I'll just switch it back to that screen for the time being. So 1 apiece now. We will see on this one. And let me just quickly get you back in, Pablo. 1 second. Where are you?
Gone. Totally gone. Let me just restart.
That was it completely died. Yeah, alright. Give us another one, mate. Let me just tell the lads 1 sec. You're just a voice in the depths now for the time being.
You have to throw a load of echo on me, like this is what it's going to be like.
It's like you're down a well. Yeah, 6-5. So yeah, we'll just throw the maps up for you guys while we get Mr. Pabs' camera sorted. And we should be good, pretty much, to go very shortly. So yeah, another one on the board there this time for the boys of Fluxx Nation. But they've done exactly what they needed to, Pabs. They struggled on the respawn. They just about got the search and destroy over the line. But they looked a bit more composed on the search. It looked as though they had a little bit that kind of additional time for them to make the plays, make the composed decisions, should I say, has come through and kind of saved the day for them in that map.
Yes, they were very good. I'm back.
Never mind. Back now,
that's not going to work now. Oh, look at me. I'm like pixelated. It's like a Nokia 3210 camera.
Yeah, you should be right.
But yeah, no, they actually surprisingly didn't really need to change their game plan at all. They just maintained that kind of aggressive stance and just let their gun skill do the talking. In the end, Dox going huge, but some great reads, really a lot of 1v2 situations that were clutched up. And you know, despite it being a number of crazy moments, including that 3-piece from Crids, and we did see a number of 2-pieces coming out of the likes of Rafe and the likes of Jed and that. So, and Breachy as well in particular, I think he probably doubled up more than anyone else, and it just kind of went under the radar a little bit. So good play by them. When Fluxx Nation deservedly bringing it back to 1-1. But then again, I guess if Tyrants win that as well, I mean, they're going to probably look at themselves and think we had such a good start that it was well worth it. But we are staying within Tuscan, so there's going to be a Tuscan control. And again, another map that's probably ideal for these two teams who seem so relatively equal, and sometimes, especially in respawn in terms of gun skill. But I think Tyrants just have the edge on strategy. So it's going to be interesting in Fluxx in particular on the defensive side, how they're going to deal with the kind of wild aggression but really good strategy coming out of Fluxx.
Yeah, I think although we don't like to call things like too soon, I think if Fluxx don't win this control, the hard point is going to be very, very difficult for them to take. Yeah. If it's going to be pretty much a similar position where Tyrant's slaying power just kind of gets them over the line. It looked as though they did struggle for ideas in that hard point and kind of the pacing of it, and obviously we're going to a Tuscan which is going to be even more fast paced. And you've killed your camera again, Pablo. What button are you pressing? I literally,
No.
I saw it firsthand that time.
I realised what the issue is. The problem was I was still on my work VPN.
Oh,
So
I see.
I ended up getting a snotty email on Monday saying, "How much data did you use on Friday? That's insane." Because I've done it a few times when I was mining F on Ethereum. I did the same thing. In fact, you might have to resend me the parsec link as well because
Oh, you just disconnected.
Frozen parsec as well. Apologies.
Oh, Pabs, what are you like? 1 second. Yeah. Right, let me quickly ping you.
You can always rely on me to bring the production value back down to earth. Oh, to hell.
Right, where are you? Let me ping you that. And I'll put your camera back in.
There you go. Connection sent, I believe.
Yeah, it should be right now. Are you back?
Yes.
Alright, let me sort out your beautiful face on set
I'm in the
screen.
mist again. I am in the mist. There we
And
go.
then you're back again now. There you go. Right, don't press any more buttons, I swear to God. So we're good to go. It looks as though the lads are ready.
You're just waiting on me. Apologies, guys.
I literally said Pablo's having a mare. 1 sec.
I completely forgot about the VPN and the snotty emails I get.
There you go. Hopefully you don't get sacked. Otherwise,
Mine death for a week while I was on the work VPN, and they were just like, "You've used more internet than anyone else has used in the entire history of our company in 1 week."
But anyways, back to the series, Pablo. Obviously, Breachy had a difficult map 1, much better map 2. You would probably again be looking to him to maybe at least work himself even, if not positive. And I think he seems to be kind of that player that we sometimes identify as being the difference maker. When they're doing well, the team does well. It's almost like before with FaZe and like was it Pristini, I think at the time on E United, when he did well. His team did well,
but it's Denza when he was at what is Ultra EU, but back in the early days of Vanguard, he was with Steve Vortex. When Denza played well, that team won, and I think they recognised that they needed someone that was more consistent. And then obviously Denza goes to Revenge Tour and does so well. Well, I think Breachy now probably reasonably warmed up. You would hope he would come into this, which isn't. It's not a balls to the wall kind of endeavour. It's not like Hardpoint where you have consistent transitions and the opportunity to get slain out quite effectively. So there's a good opportunity, I think, for him to just do as well as he did in the S&D. Play his life, get picks, make sure he trades. Though this is Fluxx's issue, is they haven't been trading out effectively. They've been single feeding hills and areas and just getting punished for it. So big opportunity, and let's hope, Major, that they play the strats that we talk about all the time. At least send one dude to B to try and kill that time and get some effective strategy across the map. Yeah,
and it looks as though those pink arrows of Tyrants, they are pretty much determined to get this A point done pretty sharpish. One pick comes through. Quid's up in top fire. He's going to get leather with a couple of bullets. It looks as though Domino maybe might go on the hunt for him while all the carnage goes down over towards the other side. And now HD, nice shots in from Dox, means that he's going to get cut down. Wow, that kill feed gets incredibly blue. Dox wipes out 3. He's now on the hunt for some more players in the back. They're going to run straight, though, into the shots of Quids. And this is the difficulty sometimes, isn't it, Pabs, where if you don't get that first point done and you start getting pinged back, the kills don't go your way, you can really start to leak lives. And Tyrants now trailing by 4.
Absolutely, and I think as well the panic to try and split across the B. If you're going to make A your kind of grail that you want to get to first, you need to consistently have the players pushing back through. Right now, this split is working for them to an extent. They've caused enough trouble over towards that B zone that it is attracting the attention of Dox and Quids. And Domino able to get a pick on Quids, I think it was. So good opportunity for them. And again, Disgusting plays as he drops Chandy. So a little bit of Dox is going to need to clean that up. But that's given them the opportunity, Major, to drop A. So 1 minute 36. It is going to be 19 plays 19, which is a nice result so far. But it's still a lot of work to do. Fluxx Nation do need to be more effective, though, in their defense right now. Yeah,
Quids, he just turns around. He would literally see there is a man literally cottoned up right next to him. Breachy, though, on Plat's going to command a lot of control over this side of the map, and Quids is going to manage to drop HD as well. Quids looking for another one. He will get shut down, though, by Rafe. with the MP40 as he just goes ring around the roses at the moment in church, and just playing this free roam role at the moment is Rafa, and it's really working for him at the moment. Quids again. Oh, didn't spot him though. Dox though, he will spot him straight off spawn, so Dox is going to be like, boys, there is another man here. He will get traded out quickly by Quids. Now 13 lives, plays 13. 1 minute left on the clock. Oh, big opportunity there potentially for Chandy to shut down both players. The trades again though for both teams very efficient. There isn't much separating them, and HD just going to get prone blocked for that small moment, so not many pushes now remaining for Tyrants.
Yeah, surprisingly, Jed, the one player that's been slaying out throughout most of the series, on a 2 and 6 right now, in complete contrast to Breachy, who does seem to have warmed up quite effectively and has been going big with his AR. 6 and 3 right now. 7 lives, plays 12 though. Fluxx just started to take control of this control round in Tuscan. It's been nice play so far. Right now, every single shot that Dox fires is causing death, and it's huge plays. Oh my days! HD with the windies, and Breachy manages to punish him with 16 seconds remaining and only 4 lives. Fluxx Nation looking very, very good for their initial control round win. Defense, obviously, but they've got to win it nonetheless, and that's a great performance so far. Dox is going to be pushing up towards this P5 area. Get shots over to ramp, and he's going to get dealt with in Fluxx Nation with what you would describe, Major, as a thoroughly deserved win right there.
Yeah, just kind of stuck their feet in and wouldn't let that one go. Dox is still waiting for that 7th kill, though, so we will stay on board with him to see how he opts to play the start here, because it can be absolutely littered with nades, and if he's caught in the wrong spot with a double nade, that opportunity for the streak will be completely chalked. So we'll see what Dox and his lads decide to do. And it's quite an interesting play, actually, that he's going to be a bit of a lone man over towards this B site. Looks as though he's just going to try and play for that man to push through. It looks as though he might have read this perfectly. Dox, good play. Big brains come through. 7 in a row. Just waits for the free kill from Rafa. That's exactly what happens. And now an opportunity for him and his boys as he still goes on a tear. 8 in a row now for Dox. The boys of Tyrants really struggling to keep pace with him at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, despite it being 27-27, just slaying out quite effectively. They've obviously got Dox going off. They've got Breachy on a 2 streak now, and 10-11 combined for Fluxx Nation. So, again, just starting to slip away, even though the life differential is still relatively close. There just seems to be a little bit more impetus, a little bit more pace in the boys in blue. And that's being represented there finally. Dox is taking off his streak as Jed decides to join the party. And I think that's the one thing Tyrants have been missing in this game, is a bit of support coming from what was their initial slayer in Hardpoint, and someone who did go big in S&D. So he's finally decided to contribute into this round. But 23 lives, plays 23. Still a lot of work for Fluxx to do. Chandy out the back with a big kill on Rafa. And HD is going to just bring that back to parity there. And he loses 2 lives to 22. Only 1 minute 40 on the clock right now. And the one thing, Tyrants not able to really build any streaks at all. So it just shows you Fluxx have started to trade reasonably effectively, which you couldn't say at the start of the series. They had an incredible amount of non-traded debts, so big change in things. And we talk about that ability, Major, to be able to change things around mid-series, and Fluxx Nation definitely doing that so far.
Yeah, hats off to them at the moment. And Dox is really starting to lead the charge for the boys in blue. They're just struggling to take him down in times of need. And Chandy is now going to get on the point. But Rafa on your screen, he's going all the way round. But they've now got another 3-man wipe here. And now, is he going to get some good timing here? Quiz is going to get some awful timing. Flies around the corner. There's one for Rafa. He knows that Chandy's on the point. Can he get the second? No, Chandy with some Chris shots there with the auto. But the boys come through to help trade out the remaining players. Dox is still just free roaming around the map. They shut him down. They still trail by 3 lives, Pablo. But at least they hold that round of pushes.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it was an important set of kills. Tyrants, we're on the back foot for an amazing amount of time, which is good play from Fluxx in that kind of attacking position. But again, it is going to be down to Tyrants to go big right now, and they've just got themselves, they've had opportunities now to set themselves up. So realistically, this should become something of a killing field, and you can see that being reflected in the kill feed, which is still predominantly pink. I say that Breachy does get taken down, so right now Tyrants doing a great job. 28 seconds, not a lot of time left for Fluxx, and you would suggest only one real effective push remaining before they get cut down. This is going to be problematic. And number 4 in HD is, potentially a great position, and as I say that, they get entirely cut down with the exception of one player, and I think that's going to be potentially that, unless they can force someone onto the hill. But you can already see, Major, those pink arrows very nicely set up. Although that's a beautiful read from Quids as he manages to drop that player, and it's going to allow number 5 in Breachy to push through. He manages to get 2 plays, and he's going to be able to just get on, but it's not enough time, and Tyrants are going to tie things up 1-1. Great play by them towards the end, but again, they've got a lot of work to do to turn things around at the minute.
Yeah, it was looking a bit rough at the beginning part of that round, but Tyrants, to be fair, again, similarly to what Fluxx did, they dug their feet in and they did not budge. So, again, we see how difficult that point can be to take over towards the B side. And I believe they've still got the streaks of Docs. Yep, I haven't gone crazy. They haven't used them just yet, so Docs still waiting for the opportunity to call the glide bomb in. He opts not to use it in that round, and good start here from Breachy, who we flagged up in the first hard point. Pablo had a rough one, and now he's cleaning wigs off left, right, and centre. 17 and 10. Good strong start here from Breachy.
Oh my days, he didn't miss. I honestly thought that he's going to reach out of the player. That's definitely got to be a kill for them. But right now, it's going to take the keen shot of Jed, who's 9 of 14, having an appalling game so far. And Docs is going to be there to trade that out. Quids is going to drop HD as well. So right now, Fluxx again looking big on the slaying. They've got themselves a 2, make that a 1 life lead. Quids is going to be on the point, just ready for that defense. So again, he's going to have to go big on his own. That player is going to get dealt with in radio. Breachy doing a great job. But again, Jed, the foil once more to Breachy's kind of attack. And Jed, you know, although 10 and 15, Major has had some really important kills so far.
Yeah, and again, a position now for Fluxx to maybe hold off the A point. Saying that, though, Quids was the only man there. And now that triple stack is coming through. So Tyrants, they've longed it out long enough. But now Docs on streaks is going to call in the glide bomb. And look at those little pink circles. Holy moly, take your pick. How many can you get? It's just going to be the 1, though, for Docs as he takes down HD. But now, still 6 in a row. He's going to try and transition over to maybe pick up a couple of pieces here. So with that streak, there's now 7 in a row, but he needs to get the 8th because the 6th came from the glide bomb. So can he now manage to do it? Oh, he's got to be careful not to get shot in the back here. Those Tyrants lads are now coming off of respawn. Docs, can he get some really good timing here to catch a couple of them out? He's just waiting for the bait. Looks as though his biggest enemy is going to be the jump up, and Domino doesn't allow it. No more streaks for Docs, unfortunately. Even at the second time of trying, he got close, but it wasn't enough.
Big differential right now. 4 lives. Chanty going to extend that even further. That 4 lives differential, and that's when Breachy getting taken down by Jed once more, who proves to be his nemesis. 12 lives, plays 15 with 1 full minute, and only B needed. Now we're going to see Fluxx trying to push through, trying to get some kills, and it is going to be Domino who manages to get the pick onto Quids, tries to push through to the back. It isn't that well defended, and HD able to get the drop on Breachy. And this is the first time they've really managed to get themselves into the back of the spawn and into the kind of spawn area. So this is a big moment, and Jed again going up 16 and 18 from what was a dramatically bad start. He's absolutely brought it out, and they've managed to get themselves nearly the 2nd tick, but that's a great play. 44 seconds remaining. HD is going to be back over towards this, but he's going to have a couple of confrontations coming up. Chandy at the back. He's going to get dealt with. No, Chandy. That's a huge kill right there with 30 seconds remaining. Fluxx very, very lucky to still be in this position of 5 and 8 with that 3 life advantage.
Yeah, they had the triple stack for a split second there, the boys in pink, but unfortunately with the clean shots, I believe, from Docs, if memory serves me well, they weren't allowed to. There's another head that gets ripped off. This time it's Chandy's. So now opportunity arises here. Breachy's got a lot of work. He falls on the point, and now another opportunity to stack. Can the nades be clean here from Fluxx? They're going to need them to be, as they're now getting more progression. The 2nd tick's coming through. Someone has got to get a kill, but Domino is ripping through players, but there's the nades. There's the nades that we see time after time, and now Breachy, he's the last man up. Takes down Jed. 1 versus 1 now. Breachy versus Rafi. Who's going to go first for the kill? And it's going to be Breachy, and it's going to be a Fluxx Nation round win.
That is incredible play. And this game so far, it seems to be a battle of the duos. We saw the hard point going the way of Jed and Domino. Well, I will tell you now, the control right now is going the way of Breachy and Docs. Enormous plays from these boys, going absolutely huge with kills. And then you get these kind of hyper important last minute kills from Breachy. 26 and 16. And his Mucker and Docs going 24 and 19. Unbelievable scoreline from these boys. And Fluxx 2-1 up, and that's a huge win. But they've probably got the more difficult job right now in this round 4. They're going to have to try and do something on the attack again. This hyper-aggressive play from Tyrants, time and time again. We are going to see Breachy push out without checking, and Rafe goes huge as he drops 75% of the Fluxx Nation team, and that kill feed does finally go the way of Tyrants. That's going to give them a slight advantage in lives, Major, as we hit that 1 minute 20 mark. Still only one tick over towards A, though.
Yeah. So now opportunity to push up. Saying that, though, Breachy and Quids don't allow it. Domino is going to be on this head eat. There's going to be a few players. There's one for him. There's two for him. The trade comes through eventually from Quids. But they've still got a lot of bodies over here. And it looks as though Quids is just going to get absolutely swamped by bodies. The timing is going to be good for each D. As he gets a pick. Down the steps goes Breachy. It's going to be a similar outcome, though, for him as he falls. And the kill feed very, very pink once again. Tyrants, they're looking to hold strong on this defensive side. And it's looking very good for them at the moment. Breachy will at least clear one man out. It looks as though that opportunity to push through to the B point was there for a split second, but you instantly saw on your minimap, I don't know if you clocked it, Pablo, kind of the sense of all players to be like, it's a bit quiet over at A. They all made the U-turn and started making their way over towards B.
Yeah, I was kind of watching thinking, now, this is a good opportunity for the Blue Arrows to just make an absolute steamed push towards B. But again, they've got the caution's going to slip in. They don't know where the rest of the team are. But you saw those pink arrows just start to converge on the point from 3 different positions. So making it very difficult. And honestly, Major, Tyrants have been ridiculously good in this round. This has been a complete flip, a complete reversal of how it's been over the previous 2 rounds. Despite them taking 1 defensive, that was kind of the very edge of their capabilities, but right now they are double positive in lives, and they've left 17 seconds for Fluxx, and they've only got that 2 ticks. They are finally going to be able to get onto the A point with 17.4 seconds, but Domino is going to be the player there, and he's going to have to go big. He does get dealt with by Dox, and Chet is going to be that thorn in the side. He gets dealt with, Major. It looks like they've got that A point, so still 1 minute 10 of this to go, but only 4 lives on Fluxx Nation.
Yeah, and more importantly, I believe Tyrants will be on the defensive side because of the amount of ticks that they got over towards the B point. They were so close to getting that round done anyways, that it looks as though for the boys of Fluxx, they're going to have to get 2 ticks here, if my maths is correct. Otherwise, I need to go back to school. So, Dox.
They've done a great job on them kills.
On the point he goes. Unfortunately, those teammates are all falling around him, and he needs to try and reinforce Chandy, who will do a good job of taking 2 players down. But now it's Chandy 1 versus 12, which is a bizarre thing to say. 35 seconds left on the clock here. And unless he's got his Iron Man suit on, this is going to be very, very difficult. You can see the pink arrows of Tyrants. They are ready and locked in on that B point. They're just waiting for the time that he's going to have to inevitably push onto. 20 seconds. How many kills can he get? He will hear one man throw a stun, so he knows one man's there. He's going to be there. Is the trade going to be there quickly from Tyrants? It looks as though they're just still going to play this patiently. Chandy feels inevitable now. I think he's just going to get shot in the back. Yep, the kill finally comes through for the boys in pink, and Tyrants, they take the round, and I think if my maths is correct, Pablo, they will be on the defensive side again. Yeah,
I'm gonna leave the mathematics to the bigger brain of Major Chafin right there. But yeah, that was a huge ask of Chandy there. He needs to go in a four consecutive S&D ace moment right there in the 1v12. So big ask, but he gets shot in the back eventually. And kind of crazy. Tyrants, kind of an appalling start to this control, but you look across the board and they're all kind of, 2 players at the higher point of nearly being at 30 kills, 2 players midpoint of 20s. Just unreal performance coming back in these 2 rounds as well. So this is a big opportunity for them. They start on the defensive side, and while they're fighting on all cylinders is a major. Of course, as soon as I say that, the entire kill feed goes the way of Fluxx Nation, with Quids dropping an amazing 2-piece right there, and Dox in support. So they've already got a 6 life advantage. This is a huge play from the boys from Fluxx as they take such good advantage of A and push over towards that B1, but it is going to be Rafe and HD who managed to, essentially just body Dox in one go.
Yeah, I'd say Dox had a really good set of rounds in the early stages. He was incredibly positive at one point, and now he's pretty much back to evens now. But Chandy is going to take down Jeb before Rafi trades him out. A little bit of back and forth between these 2 teams as Breachy gets absolutely bonked on the head with a stun grenade. Going to try and chow through, but nice pre-fire there from Rafi. Just timing it to perfection. Jed's going to pick one up as well. Chandy will fall, and it looks as though the boys on the defensive side, again, doing a good job. They're locked into position now. They've got to deal with Quids, though, in church. I don't think they know he's here. He will spot one man in each D. There's one pick for him. So he's going to be a bit of a nuisance here out the back. And We've seen this a few times, Pablo. When you don't clear those players out the back, they can do quite a lot of damage for the attacking side, even just by lurking there.
Yeah, because obviously if they get that one pick from that one player who's on that tank heady, it forces, you know, 1-2 players to start thinking about what's behind them, and that obviously gives your other teammates that opportunity to then get set up for a solid and capable push. Unfortunately, that's not going to be the case. It is going to be number 3 there, Jed, who dealt with that player out the back, although we do see Shandy with a big kill on Domino. That's going to give them a little bit of geography, whether they know that is another thing. It is going to be Domino who gets dropped in church, but again, beautiful plays from Jed out to the back, just holding the fort towards that back tank. It's allowed Domino to spawn back in. He's going to get himself a kill, and you can see, Major, how effective it is if you have got a good AR player or two who can act like that turret, and it just forces the team to just push in the front, and that is essentially, you know, challenge that team into what is just a free fire zone. So big plays from Tyrants right there. 15 lives play, 17 slight advantage to Fluxx as we hit the 30-second mark. There's still a lot of work for that team in blue to do.
Yeah, they've been really good at just kind of filtering Fluxx Nation one at a time here. Domino has been spotted out the back. Shandy going to cook him up a special one. Gordon Ramsay style. It's not going to land on his head, though. And Domino's just not moving out the back. He's just refusing to budge. And now that life count has completely switched, as we see now. What is that? A combined 10 streak for Tyrants. Make it, oh, I was going to say make it 11, unfortunately, though. For Rafa, it will fall. Dox is going to get a pick as well, but with 5 seconds remaining, someone's got to touch the hill. Someone's got to go. Breachy into the blender. Shandy potentially 2. He will drop. Can they touch the hill? No, they can't. And that is going to be the map. It's going to go in favor of Tyrants. They take it 3-2, but a much closer map, Pablo, than we might have first anticipated.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we had the conversation at the start that probably the player that we needed to go big was Breachy, and you cannot complain. Breachy and Dox went absolutely huge in that game. You know, just themselves 32, 30, 35, 35. But the real thing is they got a lot of those kills at the start, and you can see they were going to not quite double positive, but very close. But as we hit those last 2 and 2.5 rounds, the boys from Tyrants just slowly but surely started to put the kills in, started to put the time in. We saw Jed start to go absolutely huge, and then we just saw the lives fall away. Tyrants started to take control and just looked more and more dominant as the match went on. And honestly, going into Tuscan Hardpoint, I think this is definitely, you know, I think it's going to be Tyrants' game. They look so hot right now, and I just feel for Breachy, who had an appalling Gavutu. We know it potentially isn't his map, but right now Tyrants are just absolutely flying. They're on all cylinders. They just don't appear to be missing. Their strategies are really effective as well. They took a couple of the 8 points or an 8 point on one of their attacking rounds so quickly. Again, I've just got a feeling that there's going to be the very similar, you know, I think they're going to be set up for P3 really nicely. I think they're going to get set up on P5 really nicely and hold those quite difficult hills. They're going to be the markers for Fluxx. I think we know P1's potentially going to be contested. We know P2 you can get control, but I think P3, P5, and this is going to be the real big test for Fluxx. If they can do well on those 2 hills, I think they'll potentially might be able to take this to a game 5, but I mean, that's the question. What can they do?
Yeah, and HB Cynical, long live the 33, and Freak with the follows. Thank you very much, guys. It's worthy. There were a few of them. Thank you very much. And we're just getting ready for the lads to get us underway for the Tuscan once again. Just make sure everyone's on the right side. I think one of the lads has gone to the toilet. A little bit of a nervous toilet break there. But we're just waiting for the boys to get going. But yeah, I think slaying power pabs is probably the underlying thing for Fluxx Nation. When they had it in that control, they won the rounds. When Dox was doing really, really well, those were the rounds that they managed to take. It was just, unfortunately, towards the end of it, he kind of went off a little bit and kind of faded away. I suppose you would say Tyrants did a really good job of kind of shutting him down, because he had those moments where he was kind of free roaming around. He wasn't really getting stopped. And then towards the later stages, Tyrants did a good job of just kind of silencing him a little bit in particular. And obviously, Breachy, who had, again, another really strong start, didn't quite manage to keep that consistently across every round. So looking at this Tuscan, we're kind of thinking, right, okay, if they can get their slaying going and they can keep it consistently across the board, they will probably push this to game 5. But it's going to need to start off strong, because we know how out of hand Tuscan can get sometimes.
I think the thing as well is, you're quite right about calling the consistency. They need to start strong, but they need to stay at that pace. Obviously, this is the problem for a lot of teams, is they come out the blocks at 110 miles an hour, and by the time you get to the second rotation, they're back down to 60 miles an hour. So again, the comms fall off, the pace falls off. They start, you know, going rogue a little bit. One player will try and push the kill as opposed to getting anyone there to trade with them. So those little things that add up to them being a complete fall off, and we've seen already in this series series, the Tyrants, you know, will start at a pace and only get faster. They tend to pick up as the round progresses. They get warmed up, their comms seems to get better. So again, this is the thing the Fluxx have got to deal with. I expect them to be aggressive. I expect Breachy to go big with his AR, but the question is he going to be consistent enough? And the same really goes to the rest of the team. He starts off beautifully with a pick there. Rafado and Domino are going to team up, but Fluxx are going to be on P1 to try and get an early bit of team. I'm going to go now, mate.
The verbal diarrhea in map number 4. It's all right, mate. It's been a long day. It's Friday. Hey, it's not exactly a bad thing. Get it all out the system now, because tomorrow we're going to have a lot more of it. So,
yeah.
Strong start here from the boys in blue. This is what we called upon, and they've done a really good job here on the P1. Domino going to get tagged up a little bit. It looks as though number 3 Docs again, always aggressive. Flies straight around the corner, helps trade him out. Rafa's waiting around the corner. Is he going to get shot in the back? Docs he is, but Quid's looking to try and mop up the pieces. Fluxx Nation with around a 20-point lead straight off the bat. You can already see on your minimap that Jed has just sacrificed himself from going over to maybe contest any form of scrap time. He's ready to go for the next hill. So Tyrants already kind of banking on a next stronghold on P2. But again, not necessarily the easiest hill to hold.
No, not at all as well, because there are so many routes that you get, and obviously you need a strong turret towards the back, and he will often be pushed by 1 or 2 players. So as you see there, Quids with his slide cancel that I've been on the receiving end way too many times, and manages to get the pick at the back. It is going to leave number 8 Jed all on his own, who's had a reasonably appalling start, along with Chandy 1 and 4 and 1 and 3 respectively, and that's going to allow Fluxx to be able to get a little bit of time. The contest does come in though, so they're going to have to deal with the onrush of all 4 arrows. Number 3 there with some beautiful COD timing from Docs as he manages to go down ramp. I believe he is going to get shot in the back. It is Rafa who decides to double back with that information, and Quiddles is going to get onto that. And 17 seconds, you know, if the boys from Tyrants don't chow this is a good quality amount of time to bring them back into it. So huge plays from Fluxx, but that's going to be a nice fat lead going into P3. And we talked about this at the start, Major. P3, this is going to be the first, probably the most important kills. I think if Fluxx can do well breaking this down, I think they can take this and take it to a game 5.
Yeah, and already Jed out the back. He's going to be really hard to shift. Their nades are going to have to be very precise here off Fluxx, because at the moment everyone is locked in, but down through fire goes Quids. He gets some really good timing, pushes himself through. Jed's still out the back though. They will finally clear him out, but now it gets a little bit messy as Chandy finds himself out the back. But he doesn't have a huge amount of cover for it. Just behind the truck, the aggression comes through, this time from HD. Now he's going to try and cover his tracks there as the stun slaps one man in the face. Breachy, Quiddles getting kills for the boys in blue. How many more can they get, though? Because Jed is waiting. Jed just going to chew through both players. One in the open, one through the bush. And Tyrants at the moment, that lead has now almost completely diminished from Fluxx Nation.
Yeah, absolutely. I thought P3 was going to be a huge map for Fluxx. I didn't think they probably have the strategy or the power. You know, it's one thing you pointed out earlier on was that the boys from Tyrants will try and push through aggressively and try and get trades. They will try and force that out, and they've done that effectively there. Fluxx, with a few seconds on that P3, just got dealt with quite effectively, and this P4 is probably going to be a bit of a war of attrition as we see belligerent kind of plays right the way through. I'll be surprised if any one team manages to take a really good control of this hill. It is looking good right now as HD does manage to body that player. He does shoot the floor with his handgun, unfortunately, though, and that's going to go cost him big. Breachy, though, dirty boy, is going to get a 2-piece, but Rafe in the back is going to just give the boys in pink an opportunity to potentially push through. Major 65 plays 65, and again, I think this hill is going to be contested, but P5 Major could be another, you know, big separator in terms of quality.
Yeah, this is a hard hill to break sometimes on Church, and it's just back and forth. It is bodies absolutely everywhere. As again, the boys of Tyrants, although it was a bit messy, they do come out the better of the two teams, and now a little bit of a lead for them. Chandy, though, in towards the bottom of the next hill. He's going to tag Jed up, and he will fall. And it looks as though Fluxx going to opt to try and get that tiles side, arguably the easier of the two sides to try and get a decent amount of time on this one. Rafe, Jed, both combined for 2. Looks as though Quiddles and Chandy will do exactly the same, though. But last man standing is going to be HD. And Tyrants still starting to push this lead out little by little. There's a couple of bodies over towards middle map. They're obviously prioritising it. Docs is going to wait for the chow to come through. HD just going to push through aggressively. Jed's going to try and do the same. And it will be a couple of gunfights going in the favour of Fluxx Nation as we start to see the mess of P5 on Tuscan unfold.
Yeah, you can see already there's someone trying to control stairs and trying to control top, and that's an absolute nightmare. What a top rope, as they say, Major, from Jed as he jumps down and deals with Quiddles, and it's going to be HD inside the hill. And again, they've managed to get themselves a fairly sizable chunk of time at the start of this P5 and robbed a reasonable amount of time off that P4 as well. So good play by Tyrants, who are just slowly stretching that lead out, but it is going to be Fluxx who managed to get themselves a little bit of scrap time, but look who is set up for this second rotation, P1. It is going to be Tyrants just waiting for that hill to take over. Number 7, HD, is so far into the spawn. Potentially, you know, they've got the spawns blocked, but, you know, if that goes the other way, they could find themselves with the blue arrow spawning out behind them. Finally, you are going to just try and get a little bit more sensible geography and just push back towards that P1. But Major, we talked about the one difference between these two sides, aside from the kind of hyper-aggression of Tyrants, was that strategy. And right now, that is a beautiful P1 strategy right there.
Yeah, and P5 to P1 is the rotation we flag up so many times on this map. It really does pay dividends if you do it well. Dox has managed to just slip through the net, though, to take the man off the hill. And the spawn's now out the back here for Fluxx. Arguably towards the later stages of the hill, so not ideal, but this is some big time for them to maybe claw themselves back into this one, as they are now trailing by 40. And Marshall with the follow. Thank you very much, buddy. Much appreciated. But now over towards P2 we go. Rafe still lurking in and around Archers, and there is a man that spawns right next to him. He's going to get some really good timing here onto Quid, so into the blender he will go. New hill now pops. Nobody currently on it, but Chandy looking just to try and command a little bit of control over the top of it, and nice shots there from Chandy as he cleans out 2 players. Jed, though, the nade will land Pucker once again, as it will be Quids on the hill, and this is an important hill potentially here for Fluxx, Pablo, because if Tyrants get a good hold on this one, and it looks as though they're going to get aggressive with nades and clear pretty much everyone out, again, the lead that Fluxx Nation tried so desperately to pull back is just getting pushed out again.
Yeah, especially when you've got Domino absolutely going off. And I thought it was a mad play from him to get like the tiny bit of time at P1, but it actually allowed them to try and get round the back and get inside Church, and that's just cost a couple of kills. And right now, number 5 in Domino has been sat quite idly over towards this hill, getting just a sizable amount of time. And again, you've got to ask the question from Fluxx, you know, if you're going to push through P1, you need to do it early. You know, if you're not going to make the break within the first 35 seconds, then you do need to hold that Church side, otherwise you're going to get dominated in P2. And that's exactly what we've seen in Major. We're seeing it again. We saw how effective they were at P3 in the previous rotation. Well, they are set up once again. And Major, we've reached that kind of golden ratio where they're at the point now where they could take 25 seconds off the remaining kills and just really put this game to bed. Tyrants looking very, very good strategically, looking very good in terms of gun skill, and right now Fluxx without an answer. The question is, can Chandy do something magical here?
2 opportunities there for Tyrants to maybe get streaks. HD was the closest, and he didn't get them, and Domino was a couple of kills away as well. So Chandy with some important picks. Number 5 Domino is going to get caught out the back as well as Breachy, and the boys do hold strong. And although it's only 20 seconds, you can see the importance there. As Jed, another double nade comes through for Tyrants to clear out 2 players, but last man standing will be Dox. It's only going to be for 15 seconds, but the way Fluxx Nation are going at the moment, every second is going to count for them. Rafe just waiting around the corner. Oh. And he will manage to take Quids down. He won't get the second, though. Chandy, efficient with the trades. The kill feed lights up pink once again. And it just feels as though at the moment, Pablo, Fluxx Nation, they're just playing catch-up every single hill.
What happened to number 1 there? Absolutely think he just fell off the map. I honestly think he just fell off the map or naded himself or something.
I think he realised that. He might jumped off.
Yeah, I think he realised he had an absolute like hike to do, so
yeah,
just decided to just try and respawn somewhere closer. And again, this is a kill they need to be able to dominate. They need to contest at the very least, keep the boys in pink off it, because 203 to 142 is a full kill rotation lead right there. Dox needs to go off in this, and that's going to be an important set of kills for Dox as he gets a 3-piece, and that is exactly what they need, because another 20 seconds off this hill, they've managed to contest effectively as well, and they've got the run on P5 as well. So this is an absolutely, you know, this is a determining moment in this particular series. We do see Domino get the pick, but it is going to be Breachy there with the AR just waiting to push. The guys decided to triple stack. Unreal. Did think he was going to get the 3-piece Major, but HD manages to survive 206 to 166. It's still not impossible for Fluxx Nation Major to bring this back.
Yeah, I got conga line vibes again from the boys of Tyrants. We saw it in the search where Quids made them pay for it, and they almost managed to make them pay again. But they are starting to soak up time now, our Fluxx Nation. Chandy, can he get some good kills? No, he can't. 3-4 now. This is getting messy. Dox has got to go big. Dox with 1, Dox with 2. Can't get any more, though. It's still going to be Tyrants that are alive in the hill. And now they've got to be careful not to try and just solo push this. Have Fluxx Nation. The temptation to do it is always there, but they're going to have to compose themselves. Dox, he's just going to fly straight in towards the gunshots there of Domino. Probably not the wisest move from Dox, and already we can see the rotation. Gunfight's going down. Domino is not shifting off this hill, though. It's a big gunfight that Quids might need to win here. He's not going to be able to do it. So again, more scrap time that the boys of Fluxx Nation are just going to have to resign to the fact they will not get, and they are now getting ever closer, Tyrants, to getting this series done.
You know, you've got to ask the question. Now, Domino is 25 and 22. They've got the least amount of kills in this game. But those kills have been so important. That huge two-piece out towards the back of that P5. Fluxx Nation do finally get hold of P1. It's the first time they've had kind of a strong hold on a kill from the outset, but you just see them getting absolutely bodied. 75% of that kill feed is being pink. Again, Rafe goes huge, and Tyrants have got control. And with only 15 seconds remaining, Rafe is not going to be easy to budge off that breach. He manages to get around the back, but he's going to get dealt with. He does get shot into the body. He does get the pick, though. That's a huge kill on Rafe. And Chandy in support of Domino as well. And this is looking very good. Another 20 seconds potentially to go the way, but that's beautiful shots from Jed right there. Not enough to get him onto the kill, and again, he is going to get challenged, but that's, again, great shots. And Chandy manages to drop Jed. Fluxx put everything they've got into this because there are only 9 seconds major remaining before Tyrants potentially are going to take this from this P2 in this third rotation.
But by giving everything to that hill, they've got nothing currently at P2, and with only 7 seconds remaining, I don't even know if they're going to get there in time. They're going to get chopped down one at a time. Rafe, there's another player looking for one onto Quiz. He's just going to keep his head down, does the smart thing, gets the map over the line, and more importantly, helps his team get the series done. 250 to 210 in the map, and 3-1 in the series to Tyrants. A strong performance from them, Pablo, here in Division 2.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. They not only look good in terms of gun skill, but their strategy was reasonably effective as well. At times, just a really good on the rotation. Chopping at the correct times. It's a really difficult one, kind of, to kind of like effectively get right, is not just the rotation, but when to chalk a hill effectively. Well, Tyrants did that in Gavutu to great effect, got themselves a solid 50 seconds from the hill after the P3 they chalked. They go into a Tuscan S&D where honestly it could have went either way, but Fluxx dug in and finally did well on the back of a Breachy and Doc's performance. And then we look at those final two games in control and in hardpoint, and honestly, great start for Fluxx in control, but in the end it just was the gas ran out as the tank emptied. Tyrants just took over and never really looked back.
Yeah, so replays on the screen for all of you guys who did miss that one. A really good series nonetheless. I say we had a really good hardpoint there in map 4. The Search and Destroy 6-5, the Control 3-2. So on another day, Fluxx Nation, you never know, they might have been able to put up a bit of a better fight one and maybe taken the series in that one. But GG's there to both teams. Tyrants, they will manage to get it over the line. And before we dip, we'll have a quick look to see if there's anyone we can show some love to. Who can we raid? Let's have a pick. Let's go with, hang on, that's VOD, ACCL. 39 is playing, so let's give 39 GB a raid. 39 GB. Boom. Yeah, so if you guys can hop on the raid and show 39 a little bit of love as well, that would be greatly appreciated. But that is going to be it from myself and Pablo this evening in Division 2 of ACCL. Tyrants are going to be your victors on that one, but commiserations there to Fluxx Nation. Hopefully they will manage to piece themselves together and come back better next time. And no worries, UT, anytime, buddy, anytime. But yeah, thanks again, guys. We will see you on the flip side for more Call of Duty action. We'll see you tomorrow for the gauntlet at that one, for the ACCL Vibe Pay Spring Invitational. You are not going to want to miss that one. Broadcast is going to start just before 12 o'clock, guys, so hop on board with us as we see Europe's finest battle it out for $3,000. So yeah, thank you very much, guys, for tuning in, and we will see you all tomorrow for some more passion.